Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM or through WYADonline.com. We're glad you all could be with us. Also, those joining us through our online affiliates around the world, including Conversations Radio Network. I am really excited to welcome actress Chante Bowser to our program today. Now, Chante is someone who you guys have probably seen in different television shows and movies. She's gearing up for what's already been an amazing 2019 for her, including being a part of a very talented cast for the new film, The Best of Enemies. We'll talk to Chante about that and also all the great things she has coming up this year. Chante, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is definitely all mine, Chante. So as I said, you've been quite busy already this year for sure. We're going to get into The Best of Enemies. But I want to talk about this journey for you because, you've been doing your thing for quite a while, but especially these past few years, you seem to be popping up all over the place. What has this ride been like for you, Chante, to do what you love and to see the payoff coming for you?
It's been amazing. Looking back, I would have never thought things would start snowballing the way that they are. But I've been completely blessed and starting to see the work that I put in and the sacrifices I made starting to forge a path. So it's been pretty awesome.
Have you always known, Chante, that acting was going to be that thing for you, that is what you were meant to do and wanted to do?
I've always known I like to perform in front of people and act a fool. So I think that was probably an earlier indicator. I can't say for sure it was, acting. It wasn't until I got out of college, because I always knew I wanted to do entertainment. I always ended up being around people that were involved in the industry in college. And so I just didn't think I would be in front of the camera. And it wasn't until I got to law school and was taking classes on entertainment law and thinking that's where I wanted to go with it, that I realized that, wait, maybe I want to do that. Like, I want to try that. And one of my classmates we were talking about it. I was actually at a BESLA conference, which is the Black Entertainment Sports Law Association, and to further my entertainment law practice. And we were talking about being in front of the camera, and they were like, well, why won't you do that? And I'm like, really? I don't think I can do that. And as it so happens that that planted a seed. And so I already had that seed because, like I said, I always loved dancing and singing. I can't sing anymore, but I was really cute. I could sing when I was little.
You're right.
Maturity took that away from me. But so I got the opportunity to go to my first audition, and I booked that. And it was one of those ones where you had to cry on cue. And I remember the director, Frank Jackson, saying, that is like an awesome skill set. To be able to cry on cue. I didn't know I could cry on cue. I was just doing what the lines told me to do. And I just let it take me there. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. And then I booked another one, and I was like, wait. Oh, my God, I might actually be pretty good at this. And I just kept doing it. I did a lot of indies. I did a web series for years. And then I decided that I wanted to join SAG and become to try it on the film and television level that I'm working on now. And that was a huge leap of faith. And I joined SAG, and nothing happened. We all believe that when you join SAG that everybody's just going to start calling you and being like, of course, be on our project. And I realized that there's a lot more work that goes into it other than just showing up and auditioning and getting it. So I got the opportunity to make the decision to save my money. And because I had saved my money, I was able to make the decision to leave working and to go to school and take more classes. First, I started going up from D.C. to New York, and taking classes up in New York. And then I moved down to the Southeast and got an agent. And the first time I spoke with him, he said, I'm going to get you into Tyler Perry. And I was like, what? You're not going to get me into Tyler Perry. I was like, how am I going to audition for Tyler Perry? And then 2 months later, I was auditioning for Tyler Perry. And it just, after that, everything just started moving forward. And there are a lot more tears than there were smiles in the beginning, because I didn't really know. I knew what would naturally came to me for acting, but as far as being able to execute it when somebody's paying you a lot of money to do it, I wasn't there yet. So it was a lot of pain in the beginning, and that's when I realized I needed to go to school. Like, I really needed to have a craft to what I was doing. It's not just whatever talent God gave you. It's about honing and training that talent. And so that's when I ended up coming to L.A. and first going to Leslie Kahn, who was amazing and taught me more than I could have ever thought. And then I ended up getting into UCLA, and that took it to a whole other level for me. And so after that, it seems like things have just like kind of manifested. I guess the way to, if you have any faith, you know that that's the way it works, is that it manifests, but faith without works is nothing. And so I finally put in the work. I had a lot of faith since about 10 or 15 years, but I didn't put in the work. And so now that I put in the work, I could start seeing things manifest.
You know, Chante, to that point, I think if anyone is following you on Instagram, which is ironically how this conversation came about, right, that we're having, and definitely shout out to your publicist, Kay, for helping us with this. But if you're not following Chante, she's at Chante Bowser there, and we'll remind you of that. One word consistently comes up if people look back at your Instagram feed from 2015 up into 2019, and that is booked. When you kind of reflect on that, when you kind of go through your own feed and kind of reflect back on those moments, booking Star, booking, Under the Dome. I mean, do you still have those pinch me moments that, wow, to your point, that I actually did the work to make this happen?
Yeah, I do. And sometimes it brings tears, because it takes a lot of faith to walk away from a 6-figure job as a lawyer. It takes a lot to do that. And I was in a place where I was working on a web series and having an amazing time and working on a character that I still carry with me every day. And when I hit the wall, when I realized that wasn't enough and that wasn't feeding me, and I took that leap of faith and decided that I'm just not going to work for 2 years and really immerse myself and try to catch up with the people that are in my age category. And within a year and a half of that, of taking that leap of faith to start booking, and with the first one being Under the Dome, which is, Steven Spielberg. I mean, really.
Right.
I was like, wow, Steven Spielberg approved me. His executive producers approved me. CBS approved me. That moment was like everything kind of just came together. And after that, with Star, and you're just like, wow, I'm putting in this work and I'm getting opportunities that I would have never imagined. I thought I was going to always end up staying on the indie circuit, which is completely fine. I mean, I love doing what I was doing. But when I look back at that book and I see that someone at CBS or an executive at Fox, and, that team of people for each one of those shows, like, looked at my work and was like, yeah, totally, this is the person for this role. It's an amazing feeling. And to get to set, and I've had this happen a couple of times where you get to set and somebody says, we looked at a lot of tapes, or we looked at a lot of auditions, and we kept coming back to you. And we just decided that, and I'm like, wow, like, because that there are 2,000 submissions for every role at least. And there are, somewhere between, 10 to 15 people in person, and then maybe another 100 or 75 to 100, I think, for tapes, depending on the casting director. And so any opportunity that you get to even audition for a role is a complete win, because you're talking about, whatever percentage that is of 2,000 people, you got the opportunity to audition for it. But then to get the opportunity to book it and have to be on set, like, every time I look at and I go back through my feed, because sometimes you have to remind yourself, of your journey
right.
and remind yourself that all the work don't stop, because the work never stops. So you go back,
right.
and every moment it's like, wow, I remember when I did that audition. I remember what I still have them. I keep all my auditions. And it's like I remember the moment I got that phone call or email that I was pinned for it. And then I remember the moment that I got that call or email that I booked it. I live it every time I look at it.
And I think that appreciation, I think, Chante, says so much, and I think that was what will continue to be with you as you move forward. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome actress Chante Bowser to our program today. Chante has had an amazing journey as an actress, being a part of some great projects for television and film. She came to my attention back this year. I've been following her online for a while, but she came back to my attention this year because, as you guys know, I'm gearing up to go to New York to be a part of a Times Talk with Taraji P. Henson. And we just found out that Sam Rockwell is also going to be joining us on April the 3rd there in New York to give us a screening of the film, The Best of Enemies, as well as be a part of a Q&A. And found out then that Chante was a part of this film. And so I went back to her feed and was like, oh, yeah, that's right. She posted about that. So let's talk about The Best of Enemies, Chante. What was it about this project that struck you? I mean, what made you say this is something I'd like to be a part of?
Well, first, Taraji and Sam Rockwell. So kudos to you.
Right. Look, that's really
I'm
all we
jelly.
Yeah.
I'll live vicariously through you on April 3rd.
Yeah.
But it was that. It was Taraji and Sam, and it was the opportunity to be a part of a historical piece. That's been in my prayer journal for probably at least a decade at this point. And,
oh, wow.
And the opportunity, I've always wanted to do that and to be a part of a true life story. So it checked all of the boxes for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the opportunity to audition, a really good friend let me borrow her 70s outfit that that she wears for auditions that are in that time period. And I submitted my tape from the request from my agent, and then when I got the audition, the call back, and I was like super excited. I was like, oh my God, I got a call back. This is great. And so I ended up having to go to Atlanta for the call back, and I did the one thing they tell you not to do at an audition, which is I really got so into the scene. I hugged the casting director in the middle of the scene, which is a complete no-no because you don't touch them. And I was like, I left the hotel, the conference center, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm totally not getting this role because I completely touched that woman, and they're going to put me on, like, a blacklist. And I ended up booking it. I was like, oh, my God, like, this is the one time I was like, thank you, Lord, for grace because I was terrified that I was going to be put on a blacklist. But, that whole project is like I said, a dream come true. It's been in my prayer journal for a very long time.
Well, you posted about it on February the 2nd on Instagram, Chante, and I think, the thing is, and one of the things that you mentioned in your post was you got a chance to be in scenes with both of them. I mean, was that also one of those wow moments for you? As you mentioned, of course, they were reason enough to want to be a part of it, but to actually be able to be with them in this film, was that also one of those things that you think you will continue to carry with you?
Oh, absolutely. Because they're both an Academy. Well, Sam is now Academy award winning, and Taraji has been nominated twice, I believe. Right. And the opportunity to see how master actors execute roles where they're taking on the personas of another, someone that existed. So it's not as if they, are bringing this character to life from nowhere. They're actually basing it on somebody that lived in this world and breathed and had history and interactions with other people. So watching them manifest those people in real time with a master class in acting, because they have different methods to how they approach the character. But both of them, in watching from take to take, watching how the decisions that Sam made from take to take and the decisions that Taraji made from take to take. And one thing that I take away from that being on set with them is that it looks like they're doing nothing. which is what acting is. It's reality. It's realism, and that's what they both do. They do it so flawlessly that it looks like they're doing nothing. But when you see it up on the screen and that thing in their faces on that silver screen, and you're like, wow, they're doing so much. It looks like they were just doing all these things. But it's so simplistic, but it's not. You know that all that work that they've done to develop this character and bring this person to life is it's manifesting in what they're doing in that moment. And to be able to know that they've done all this work, character work, and they're standing there and you're watching that work live is something I will never forget. And they have inspired me to make sure that I am as small as I can be, especially when it comes to film, is to make sure that my acting is internalized as much as I possibly can and allow the camera to do the work. Because if you created that character, it's going to come through because the camera sees everything. So that is probably the biggest lesson I learned from being on set with them. I couldn't have paid enough for that opportunity.
Gotcha. Well, it's definitely something I know the world is looking forward to seeing. Of course, it has its national debut on April the 5th, so definitely if you all have not made plans to see The Best of Enemies, make plans to do that. Not, of course, just because of Taraji and Sam, but also because of our guest, Chante Bowser, that's been joining us. Chante, really appreciate this time. Last thing I want to ask you is about the what's next, because you mentioned in this conversation about the appreciation, the importance of the work. Do you find yourself, as you are appreciating what you've done, also looking ahead to what's to come?
Well, I have Criminal Minds coming up. I wish I had a premiere date because they haven't given it to us yet. And I have another film, Mirror, Mirror, that has an amazing ensemble cast. I'm a lead in that, which is super exciting because that's my first lead that I booked after graduating from UCLA. So I get to take all the things that I did naturally before and all the things that I learned at UCLA and with Leslie Kahn and bring it into this particular role. So I'm excited to see what that does. And then I have a role in Dally and Spanky, which is about the dog and pony show. If you look that up on Instagram, it's really cute. The dog rides the horse. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's completely awesome.
I haven't.
And so that's what I have coming up, and I have some other things, but it hasn't been confirmed yet, so I can't really say anything. But God has been good this year. That's all I can say.
Well, a lot for us to look forward to. And Chante, so excited for you, really excited about this conversation. Again, everyone, Chante Bowser has been our guest. So, Chante, let our audience know how they can stay connected with you.
Best way is between Instagram and Twitter. It's at Chante Bowser on both of them because I'm very simple. And shout out. I will definitely say hi back.
Look, I appreciate that. Really appreciate this time. Definitely want to thank your publicist, Kate Williams, for setting up this conversation with us. And, Chante, looking forward to having you back on the program again.
I look forward to it too, Cyrus. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, the pleasure is definitely all mine, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Chante. Don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site, so head over to Facebook.com/CyrusWebb or go to Twitter.com/CyrusWebb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there, too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.